The flower's name as the garden she walked across, arm in my arm, such a short while since hark, now I push its wicket, the moss hinders the hinges and makes them wince she must have reached this shrub ere she turned, as back with that murmur the wicket swung, for she laid the poor snail, my chance foot spurned, to feed and forget it the leaves among. Two down this side off gravel walk she went while her rope's edge brushed the box and here she paused in her gracious talk to point me a moth on the milk-white phlox. Roses, ranged in valiant row, I will never think that she passed you by she loves you noble roses. I know, but yonder, see, where the rock plants lie. 3 This flower she stopped at, finger on lip, stooped over, in doubt, as settling its claim, till she gave me, with pride to make no slip, its soft meandering Spanish name. What a name! Was it love or praise? Speech half asleep or song half awake? I must learn Spanish, one of these days, only for that slow sweet name's sake. 4 Roses, if I live and do well, I may bring her, one of these days, to fix you fast with as fine a spell, fit you each with his Spanish phrase, but do not detain me now, for she lingers there, like sunshine over the ground, and ever I see her soft white fingers searching after the bud she found. The flower, you Spaniard, look that you grow not, stay as you are and be loved forever. Bud, if I kiss you 'tis that you blow not, mind, the shut pink mouth opens never for while it pouts, her fingers wrestle, twinkling the audacious leaves between, till round they turn and down they nestle. Is not the dear mark still to be seen? Why where I find her not, beauties vanish, whither I follow beauties flee, is there no method to tell her in Spanish June's twice June since she breathed it with me? Come, bud, show me the least of her traces, treasure my lady's lightest footfall. Ah, you may flat and turn up your faces, roses, you are not so fair after all. 2. Cybrandus Schaffenbergensis plague take all your pedants, say I. He who wrote what I hold in my hand, centuries back was so good as to die, leaving this rubbish to cumber the land. This was a book in its time, printed on paper and bound in leather, last month in the white of a matin prime just when the birds sang all together. 2 Into the garden I brought it to read, and under the arbute laurestine read it, so help me grace in my need, from title page to closing line chapter on chapter did I count, as a curious traveler counts Stonehenge, added up the mortal amount, and then proceeded to my revenge. 3 Yonder's a plum tree with a crevice an owl would build in, were he but sage, for a lap of moss, like a fine pawn Levi's in a castle of the Middle Age, joins to a lip of gum, pure amber, when he'd be private, there might he spend hours alone in his lady's chamber. Into this crevice I dropped our friend. 4 Splash, when he, as under he ducked, at the bottom, I knew, rain dripping stagnate next, a handful of blossoms I plucked to bury him with, my bookshelf's magnate, then I went indoors, brought out a loaf, half a cheese, and a bottle of Chablis, lay on the grass and forgot the oaf over a jolly chapter of Rabelais. Now, this morning, betwixt the moss and gum that locked our friend in limbo, a spider had spun his web across, and sat in the midst with arms akimbo. So, I took pity, for learning's sake, and, underscored a profundies, accentibus liltes, cantate exclamation mark underscore quoth I, as I got to rake, and up I fished his delectable treatise. By here you have it, dry in the sun, with all the binding all of a blister, and great blue spots where the ink has run, and reddish streaks that wink and glister o'er the page so beautifully yellow. Oh, well have the droppings played their tricks. Did he guess how toadstools grow, this fellow? Here's one stuck in his chapter 6. 7. How did he like it when the live creatures tickled and toused and browsed him all over, and worm, slug, eft, with serious features, came in, each one, for his right of trover. When the water beetle with great blind deaf face made of her eggs the stately deposit, and the newt borrowed just so much of the preface as tiled in the top of his black wife's closet. 8. All that life and fun and romping, all that frisking and twisting and coupling, while slowly our poor friend's sleeves were swamping and clasps were cracking and covers suppling. As if you bad carriage sour John Knox to the playhouse at Paris, Vienna or Munich, fastened him into a front row box, and danced off the ballet with trousers and tunic. 9. Come, old martyr. What, torment enough is it? Back to my room shall you take your sweet self. Goodbye, mother beetle, husband eft, underscore suffice it exclamation mark underscore see the snug niche I have made on my shelf. A's book shall prop you up, B's shall cover you, here's C. To be grave with, or D. To be gay, and with E. On each side, and F right over you, dry rot at ease till the judgment day.